Shalom, Israel, shalom. I want to welcome you to King James Bible University. I'm Elder Michael Johnson with the Lost Sheep of Israel. Today we're going to be going through a very interesting teaching today. But what I do want to do before we go into the presentation, I do want to let you know a few things that actually transpired this past week. Because what we did once we did the teaching based on Yahushua Jesus is the son of Joseph and Mary, this second teaching that we actually did, to where many people who went over there did not use the comments to where anything. It's really hardly no comments over there once they notified me of this. So it's really weird to where some people know, but some people don't. But this also shows you on how people try to force a doctrine on you, even though you're showing them direct scriptures in there. So these are things that I always tell people you must watch. I'm going to get ready to get set up here. But the main thing, what we always want to understand is this. If anybody's willing, understand what I'm saying, anybody's willing to take you out of the Bible and give you one scripture and then proceed to give you a ton of their thoughts, a ton of their theories, a ton of their theology, watch it. Because you want to question everything and point them directly always back to the Bible, because you want to see it in scripture. If you cannot see it in scripture, deem it as a lie. Because this is what they push you. They like to push these false doctrines. They like to push these false thoughts. And this is why we have a problem. We have over 35,000 different denominations of Christian religions. Over 35,000 plus. And on the average, they develop 1,000 more every year. They base it all. Many, over 40%, are based on King James Bible. So this should tell you right there. But everybody's doctrine has a little bit of a twist. Nobody using the doctrine of Christ, which was used through what he came with his Father has given him. They come with their own little twist. So these are things to watch. And then I also spoke with a few people where they said that they was out of the churches and they didn't know where to go. But the thing that, as I always tell you, is this, and this is what I hold to, because he's going to show you this also in his book. Don't go to a place just the fellowship they're in. They holding on to a different doctrine that's not of him. Because you're not doing that, because now you're doing something in vain. So that's something you don't do. So what we're going to do, we're going to get started up, and we're going to start going through this presentation to where we can get a complete understanding of exactly what is going on. And mainly what we're going to be talking about is Back to the Future. And you're going to see the twist on that. And then I'm going to announce something after this to which we're going to get into. So with that, let me go on and get started up. And we're going to crank this up, and we're going to go right directly into this teaching. So basically what is going on here, we're going in Back to the Future. And what do that really mean? Today, in this time, that is, our enemies have taken certain steps assuring many Israelites would never get back, no matter what. Get back to what? Get back to where they need to be. But no matter how smart or unintelligent you are, many are going to fall in these traps. These evil spirits are filled with people to where they sit, and they will do anything to separate you from the Most High. Because it's like giving you kryptonite to Israelites. This is one of our biggest problems. Kryptonite cripples you. Kryptonite takes you down. Kryptonite do not allow you to do what's right. So it comes in many forms. Once they inject this into you, it comes in the form of words. It comes in the form of books. It comes in the form of people, teachings, money, fame, power, women, sex, drugs, and it comes with a whole lot more. I can continue to do this more and more. But once it affected you and affected your mind, they can literally erase you from history. History is nothing more than an event that happened that was really nothing to do with you. Understand what I'm saying? This has been happening that has really nothing to do with you. This enables them to insert into their matrix, not the matrix that you see in the Bible. We're going to see these differences of false beliefs. They wipe it out the world to replace it with theirs. They replace your God with their God. See, this is what they're doing. Your forefathers with their forefathers. Your history becomes their history. This is why you see, and most times you see in a lot of these religious images and everything else, they have literally replaced you. So we're going to see how this works according to Scripture, and how to never get caught up once you're awake. Because many people who are joining in on these teachings, many are awake. You have some people that they like to troll through these sites and stuff like that. But many of you guys are awake. And we need to understand how, when you're awake, what you must do. So many that are woke that's walking around knowing not the difference between two things. They're not knowing the difference between spiritual and carnal. These are two very important things you really need to understand. Because spiritual and carnal literally separates you from what you need to know. And we're going to find this out. This will end up, and then what it does is allow them to remove you from history if you don't know. So many of us will even see even our loved ones being caught up and is affected with this thing called kryptonite that I'm telling you about. And the only way they can be released at that time then is through the Most High. You cannot do this. This is through the Most High. This is based on the grace and the mercy that He will put upon them if He decides to let this go. So, however, they will consistently refine this in history. So as we go back into the future to erase an entire nation from the future, this is what they're doing. And who they eliminating? Israelites. The history, the true Jews in the Bible. If you remember back in the future, the movie, what did they do? They went back in the future to do what? To alter results that was going to be happening in the future. See, this is the catch. So they have to go back to change things, and then once they change them, they can alter what will be happening in the future. This is what they have done. They have painted pictures and changed them. They have whitewashed many things. But the future determined real future outcomes. This is the whole thing. This affects many things. This affects babies, children, teenagers, adults, and even our elderly. This has power to erase entire future events of people, including nations. We're going to see how this is going to go. So we're going to see exactly how this works. And we're going to get this understanding. So this is something that's very important that we always need to understand. So let's go look. We're going to go to Isaiah 1, and we're going to start it at verse 2. It says, "Hear, O heavens, and give ear, O earth, for the Lord hath spoken. I have nourished and brought up children, and they have rebelled against me." Understand the last part he's saying. They have rebelled against me. So the Most High has brought out of bondage a nation out of Egypt, which was Israel. And with his people, what did they do? We rebel, meaning renouncing the authority of the Most High's government. So let's not sit there and think what you're doing is different. So most people sit there and say, well, they just rebel, they just doing this. But what you had did, the Most High's government, when they come out and they want to go out into their own allegiance to. So we're obligated to uphold the laws in that government. That's the thing. But this is our issue. Verse 3. The ox know his owner, an ass his master's crib, but Israel don't know. My people do not consider. What is it saying? An ox sometimes also apply to male and female. However, an ox shows his owner. He knows his owner. And an ass his master's crib. And he knows his home. But Israel, the Most High people, cannot figure out who we are. Why? Many are still in the matrix believing what? They're Negroes, they're colored, they're black, they're Afro-Americans, they're African-Americans. What's coming up next, we don't know. But then when they send out the census, people will start, or they will start refining to change what these people are. This is the thing. So as long as we do not know, we cannot consider what the inheritance the Most High God is offering to his people. We cannot consider anything in the Bible because we do not know who we are. His people are being wiped out from history from the use of books, from the use of preachers, from the use of people themselves within the matrix, putting themselves and injecting themselves back into a sleep state to not know. Back in the future. And this is one of the things that most people sitting there saying. They telling you, an Israelite, you are a Gentile. And once you believe you are a Gentile, or you believe that you are a African American, or you believe that you're a Negro, or you believe that you're colored, or you believe that you're black, you're going under that same state and that same government which they have given you. This is what they're doing. Because what? We cannot consider. Why? Because they have taken this crafty counsel to do this. And they have gotten us to believe it. Psalms 83. Picking it up at verse 2. It says, Lo, thy enemies make a tumult. So they done made a big total world of confusion. This is what they did. How did they do it? They did it in books, Bibles, to cause us to stray. And it says, and they that hate thee has lifted up the head. So the ones that hate the Most High, which we will end up seeing, who hates him, and what they decided to do. They decided to deal with Israelites by any means necessary. We're going to find out that. Many, they deceive, they oppress, even death. You see that today. They made this decision in the councils and other thousands of years ago, because this is in Psalms. This is something that they did because they hate the Most High. Understand what that means. When they hate him, they're going to hate you without cause. Exodus 1, picking it up at verse 9. And he said unto his people, Behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. This is even when they started, when they was in Israel. When they was in Egypt. This is where they started to deal with us a lot differently. Our enemy said to his people, Israelites is more and mightier. Have you ever seen we try to attack against anyone that was not given by the direction of the Most High, the righteous one? But these were starting the confusion. And they said they was more and mightier, so they wanted to change up what they wanted to do with us. Because we was living next to each other, but we wasn't causing any harm to them. But they decided they wanted to change up. Verse 10. And it said, Come, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply and come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land. Now they have switched up everything. Now they're going to deal with us wisely. With Israel. How? They're going to put a smoke screen in front to justify their hatred. How are they going to do it? Slavery, hard labor, even death of the Israelites. You see that back then. You can read it. You see that even today. To do what? To justify what they're doing. Remember the prophecy that the Most High made even unto Abraham was also being fulfilled. That the Israelites would multiply in great number. He literally made this statement to him. We're going to see it And I'm going to take you to the commentary part, even in Acts. Let's go over to Acts 7, pick it up at 17. It says, but when the time of the promise drew nigh, which Yahweh had sworn to Abraham, the people grew and multiplied in Egypt. It's telling you the same thing that we could pull in the law, but I'm going here because I'd rather for you to see the commentary here. Verse 18. It says, till another king arose, which knew not Joseph. So this new king that came up, he didn't know Joseph, and he had no agreement with Joseph. Because Joseph was already gone. So this was no agreement. So this is why they start making the differences now. Verse 19. The same dealt suitably with our kindred, in evil in treatment our fathers, so that they cast out their young children to the end they might not live. So this is letting you know they was casting out, they was killing us. Just letting you know that's dealing with us suitably. That's dealing with us wisely in their terms. Meaning dealing with us in artful, cunning, crafty, or scheming ways, doing what? Killing even our young children back then, also in by enslavement. But let's get a little more. Let's go to Psalms 83 and picking it up at verse 3. Because we're going to break that all down to where we can understand exactly what's going on. Psalms 83 and 3, it says, they had taken crafty counsel against thy people. So they know it's going against his people. And consulted against thy hidden ones. We're going to understand why they are hidden. And why it says that many people think differently, but we're going to see based in the precepts in the Bible to understand why it's saying they have consulted against thy hidden ones. We want to understand what hidden ones mean according to the Bible, not to our carnal understanding. This is why I say stop going outside the Bible, stop pulling commentaries, stop pulling strong concordance, because they're going to direct you to a false understanding. But we're going to find out what that is according to the Bible. But this is the main part. This is a two-part. If you look at it, it says one, they have taken crafty counsel, and it tell you right there, against thy people. That's the first one. But they did, this is a two-part deal that you even see right here, because you see and, meaning to introduce or additional comments or interjection. So you see that. It says, he had taken crafty counsel against thy people, comma, and consulted against thy hidden one. This is what they have done. They introduced something else. And they consult against the hidden ones from what? Who are they? These was hidden, but guess what? They also hidden the book from you to where you can even get this complete understanding here. Well, how are we going to find it? Let's go to 2nd Esdras. 2nd Esdras 5, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. It says, nevertheless, as concerning the tokens, behold, the days shall come. So we know this is something that's getting ready to come, that they which dwell upon the earth shall be taken in a great number. Exactly what I'm talking about. In the way of truth shall be hidden. Understand what is going on here, folks. And the land shall be barren of faith. This is what we're talking about. So we are a great number. How? By false teaching, because we're going to be taken in great number. And doing what? By false teachings in one way. The way of sin. And the land will be childless. Meaning there's none of the Most High people there. This is the token. Look in the Sunday churches today. Look how many is in there. This is the problem. This is something that many people even hate, to where even when I speak to many pastors, even this past week, many of them dislike when I bring that up. But they still want to hold to Sunday because they tied to something else. They tied to money. So they want to honor that. But still, when you honor that and the Most High telling you to honor his Sabbath day, they still going to honor Sunday. So do what? When you running on Sunday, you running and you're sinning as soon as you go there. So many people say, well, what about you? Yeah, I used to do it myself. But I learned better. So guess what? I'm not going to go sin just to be sinning. Just to go there. It don't make no sense, because my desire is to do his will, not to do my will. But these tokens, and so great number is going to go away in what? Be taken in great number, believing in what? Not the truth. The way of truth is what? Hidden from many. This is the thing, verse 2. But iniquity shall be increased above which now thou seest, in that thou hast heard long ago. This has already been spoken about. Already been talked about. But guess what? This is going to increase. Even in today. Because many people are going to hear the truth and they're going to drive them more to the untruth. Because they're going to look at saying what he's doing. He's going through the Bible. He's pulling scriptures from different places. And he's trying to make a lie fit. And the Bible tells you the instruction. You got to do precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little and there a little. And they'll tell you you don't supposed to do that. You're supposed to do it the way my pastor do it. And he teaches on this. And this is how we do this. This is the problem. This is why you have to watch. So sin will increase above what? What you see. Increase mean this is with the ED on the end of it. It already means this already has started. So when you see in iniquity shall be increased, this is already started. This started back then. This has already happened. This is past tense. So back then, Idris is saying, and he said that way. He said you heard this long ago. Verse 3. In the land that thou seest now have root shall thou see wasted suddenly. Exactly what we've been saying. So which have taken root in the land, believing the truth that was there, this land is now wasted. There is no truth in the doctrine being taught by them. This is why. Because we was completely destroyed based on truth. Let's go back and pull a little more. Psalms 83, verse 4. And it says, they have said, come, let us cut them off. Who? Those hidden ones from being a nation. Who is the nation? Israelites. How? We're going to prove all that. And it says that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. Now, sit back, think about it for a minute. They had taken the name of a people and put it on land. That's one thing to think about. But putting this in motion to stop you from being a people, a holy people of the Most High, they began to wipe out our memory banks by going back in the future and inserting us in the matrix and putting us in a deep sleep, the drug of choice, and have laden us with what? With sin. How? By enticement. By money, by women, by cars, by houses, by fame, power, the use whatever they need, whatever tool they need to do this. This is what they do. And they have caught many of us in this web. Many of us are in this web. This is what we have to understand what they're doing. They have used these uses to do this. They have used this to destroy even our worship places. Yeah, our worship places, because most people think, because of what I'm getting ready to tell you back over here on this one place, which is synagogue, why most people don't want to use it, which is actually mean moed, because that's all it is what it really means is a gathering place. But the Jewish nation have hijacked this name and made it a house of Satan. But we're not going to do this because what they're stated back in Revelations 2:9 and 3:9. However, this is saying our gatherings. A moed. That's what it is. So there is a gathering place of Noah, but let's get an understanding on how they wiped it out of our minds to clean us from our information. Let's go to Psalm 74 and get this understanding. Picking it up at verse 7. It says, they have cast fire into thy sanctuary. They were doing it back then. You see it went on now. You can even see where they bombed many of the churches with Israelites in there. You can even go back in the 30s, 40s, 50s on up. You can even see that happen. They have defiled by casting down the dwelling place of thy name to the ground. So they have burnt up our sanctuaries, or moads, our gathering places, or our synagogues. When I'm saying synagogue, most people well know synagogue because that's only over in the New Testament. But watch this. Let's go to verse 8 to get the understanding. They said in their hearts, let us destroy them together. Understand that. That they have burnt up all the synagogues of Yahweh in the land. See, they burnt up ours. And then they erected theirs. Understand that's what was going on. This is over in Psalm. So that made this clear. First, we're going to destroy the Israelite synagogues of the Most High in the land. This is coming from their hearts of the enemy to do what? To destroy us, the Most High people. And it's still going on today. But let's see what happened. Let's go to Lamentations. Pick it up at 2 and verse 5. It said, the Lord was as an enemy. He has swallowed up Israel. He has swallowed up all her places. He have destroyed his strongholds. He have increased the daughter of Judah's mourning in lamentation. So thy enemies have made a tumult. Nothing changed. Nothing. 2017, nothing have changed. He swallowed up Israel in all our places. He destroyed even our strongholds, which caused our forefathers to go into an expression of sorrow, cries of grief, because they went back as far as they can to do what? To wipe you from history. This is what they're doing. Verse 6. And he have violently taken away his tabernacles, as if it were a garden. Understand that. He have destroyed his places in of the assembly, and the Lord have caused the solemn feast and Sabbath to be forgotten in Zion. He's talking about Jerusalem. And have despised in the indignation of his anger the kings and priests, the rulers of the land. So this Moab was violently taken away from us. In the same as in the garden, again, we'll see these are places of our assembly. That's why that's what this is. It is places of our assembly. The Most High had caused the Sabbath to be forgotten in Zion, which is speaking really of the city of David. This is what he's saying. So we have to understand the language he's using, but we're going to understand this because we're going to check every box to make sure we're not going off on any weird tangent. Let's go to 2 Samuel chapter 5 and verse 6. It says, and the king and his men went to Jerusalem unto the Jebusites, the inhabitants of the land, which spoke unto David, saying, except thou take away thy blind and the lame, thou shalt not come in hither. Thinking David cannot come in hither. We know this is speaking of the city of David, Jerusalem. We know our Moab was taken, that they had replaced them with the speaking of keeping us in sin. How? To keep us asleep in the matrix, not keeping the commandments. That's all I'm saying. That'll keep you in the matrix when it comes to one of them. The world of Gentile is now equal, which we're going to see this in a minute. Verse 7. It says, nevertheless, David took a stronghold of Zion, Jerusalem. It's saying the same thing. The same is the city of David. But as I just said, I made a statement and I have to qualify it. Understand what I'm saying there? Because these Gentiles have now made themselves equal to Israelites, and all they have to do is do what? Keep us in sin. Keep us inserted in the matrix. And then what it has done. See, because we have one king. Let's not forget what's going on here. We have one king, but now they have done what? They have set kings and presidents over us to do what? To keep us in sin. This is the trip. But watch, we're going to see this because this is what they do. And now they became equal to us. because they set their king over us. And he tells you plain as day, understand what Daniel and them did. Nebuchadnezzar, what did he say? He wanted them to bow down. And they wouldn't, because they have one God. They have one king. Understand that. But watch, we want to understand this. Let's go to Isaiah 14, picking it up at verse 8. It says, yea, and the fir trees rejoice at thee, in the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, and no fillers come up against us. What is this saying? What is a no filler? We're going to understand what a no filler is, because a no filler is one that hews or knocks down strongholds. Speaking of who? The Most High. This is all they're saying here. So have no fillers had came up against them. So the Most High have not came up against them to see what is clear, so they can do business as usual. Why? Because they're keeping Israel in sin. And by law, the Most High, Yahweh, cannot do anything because he cannot break his own law. We're going to find that out and see and understand how they understand exactly what's going on, and how we need to wake up and understand what's going on. But he cannot and will not break his own laws. This is the main thing. But I'm going to show you that in 1 minute. But we need to understand clearly that he cannot break his own law. Don't ever think he's going to break it, because he's not. Let's get this understanding. Verse 9. It says, hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming, and stir up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of earth. It has raised up from their thrones all their kings of their nations. Understand what this is doing? They done set up shop. All the ones that's against us has begun to rise up against us in our community. What? They raping us of all our wealth, just harvesting us, never putting back. We in the matrix now, so we never have to put back. Why they never putting back? You go in any Israelite community anywhere, show me where you have more than 5 or 10 businesses in there owned by us. You're not going to see it. Why? Because they harvesting outside of there, because they come in to take and they take out. What did I mean by that? I'll show you what they do. What they do with many of these in our communities. Less than 1%. Understand this: 1% is owned by us. The dollar of many Israelite communities, $1, only stays in that community for 8 hours. For a hard-earned dollar of an Israelite, it stays in that own community for 1 hour, for 8 hours. Our community, other communities, you can go many other communities, it turns over 8 to 12 times before leaving that community. That's why when you go into Israelite communities, you see it in most like poverty-stricken areas. This is why it looks like that. Because they have used us as energy to fund many other places. Understand that. Our money only lasts 8 hours in our community. And what we have to understand is this: Israelites is a $1 trillion, multi-trillion-dollar business. That's how much they draw out per year out of Israelite communities. They're not stupid. How does this happen? We have became as one of them. We are weak. We'll still sit there, the same as our sisters. They'll sit there. I got to go get my hair from this certain place. I got to go to such and such place and get this. You are inserted in the matrix. They're using you for their energy to keep you ripped down and weighed down to them. We're real fast to go to Joe Kim to get something there because he speaks to you and you think he's cool. You inserted in the matrix, but he's going to leave out of there, go back to his community, because guess what? You was the energy and the funding source to keep him in his wealth. You're in the matrix. Understand this. Let's go to verse 10. It says, all they shall speak and say unto thee, thou art also become weak as we. Exactly what I've been saying. So we're the same as them. Thou art become like us. We become like them. What? sinners, heathens. So once we like him, guess what? We have no light. We have no protector. We have no commandments to live by. What they tell you in the Sunday churches, commandments are done away with. We have no rules to live by. All we got to do is love and do this and do that. So we have made a covenant with the Most High. But what? All I keep saying is remember Isaiah 1 and 3. The ox knoweth his owner, an ass his master crib. But Israel do not know, my people do not consider. We don't even, we done screwed ourselves up. The Most High cannot break his own laws. This is what we got to understand. And most people always want to tell you in the Sunday church, even in many Sabbath day churches, what they do, they say the Most High won't do anything to you. You know, it disappoints him when you sin, and that's not true. Many people say, well, Elder Johnson preaches a doctrine to make people fear the Most High. Exactly the point. Because guess what? That's what you're supposed to fear. Because he can destroy the soul and the body. Man can't. That other Christ can't. He can. So if you're walking contrary to him, sinning, don't think he's not going to walk contrary to you. But let's find this out. Let's get this foundation and understand if you walk contrary to the Most High, let's see, is he going to be feeling sad and say, I hope that you come back all right and you guys be okay and just come back and just love me? Or is he going to walk contrary to you? Let's understand this. Let's go to Leviticus 26. Picking it up at 23. It says, and if we not be reformed by me by these things, but will walk contrary unto me. Understand what this is getting ready to go down. Walking contrary. So if we will not change for the better and hearken or listen to the Most High commandments and do according to what his word says, he will bring other things upon us. Because we're going to find out this right now. Verse 24. Then will I also walk contrary unto you, and will punish you yet 7 times your sins. Why are you going to do it 7 times? Because guess what? Because you knew better. That's the problem. You knew better. But the main thing is, he's telling you plain as day, if you will not walk in his laws, you walking contrary to him, he's going to walk contrary to you. He has no choice. Why? Where is this embedded? This is embedded in the law. The law, the first 5 books, is the law throughout the Bible. So wherever you go within the Bible, this is what this is. So if you do not listen, which I'm gonna hone that in, and we're gonna narrow it down. So if you will not listen, obey him, and you walk contrary to the Most High, he's gonna walk contrary to you. He has no choice. This is something that you're putting on yourself. All sinners look like, to the Most High, whatever he sees them at. See, because if you're a sinner, and people say, well, all Israelites look alike, the Most High sees that. All sinners look alike to him. And he will punish you. He will punish you accordingly. So however you make this cleared up, you must listen. As it says, even if you go even back up, go to verse 21. But I'm going to show you another part to where we understand it. Let's drop down to verse 27. And it says, and if they will not for all this hearken, listen unto me, but walk contrary unto me. Understand that this is in the same context. And he's still harping on this. Who? The Most High. He's still harping on this. But now he narrows, you will not listen, hearken unto me, but walk contrary unto me. So he's telling, but if you're not going to listen to me and you're going to walk contrary unto what I'm telling you what to do, because he's not asking you. Maybe, well, no, he just wants, no, he's telling you what to do. Now you have a choice to do it or not do it. And if you don't do it, you're going to be walking contrary unto him. Who? Israelites. He only dealt with us. He wasn't dealing with no other nation. Out of all the families of the earth, only you have I known. He's dealing with you. So if he's dealing with you, you doing something wrong, you walking contrary unto him. So you may think you're not, but you are. You can be doing it in worship, whatever. And if it's not according to what he said, and we're walking contrary unto the Most High, when we lead the Most High and not doing his commandments, he has no choice but to do what? Verse 28. Then I will walk contrary unto you also. Understand, also in fury. And I, even I, will chasten you 7 times your sin. He's letting you know, I'm doing this. If you walk contrary unto me, I'm going to walk contrary unto you. And when you walk in contrary unto you, guess what that also means? He will forsake you. Most people, oh no, he won't. Oh yes, he will. He will forsake you. Many don't believe this, but I'm going to prove this in scriptures in 1 minute. Many believe he will not forsake them. However, the Most High cannot look upon sin. This is the whole problem about the sin business. He cannot look upon sin. Why? Because he's pure. He cannot even look upon it. So how can he help his children and we're laden in sin? That's the stopper. That's the kryptonite. So you're going to tell me you're sinning, but he's going to stay with you. He can't do it. He cannot do it. It's a couple of things that we know that's in the Bible. See, people, you say, well, is nothing impossible with God? It's 2 things he can't do. 2 things. He cannot lie, and he's not going to break his laws. Those are 2 things the Most High cannot do. So if anybody say, well, he can do anything, no, it's 2 things he cannot do. Make that perfectly clear. He cannot do those, and he will not do it for us. Let's keep moving, but we're going to keep moving. So he can't help his children if we're laden with sin, and then what? We become his enemies. The Most High will not break anything. But just as I said, why? Because he is too pure. Let's check this. Habakkuk 1:13. It says, thou art pure eyes then to behold evil. He cannot look up. Sin is evil. And cannot look upon iniquity. Exactly the point. Wherefore, lookest thou upon them that deal treacherously. So, what it's saying, the ones who sinning, go ahead and get them. And holdest thy tongue when thy wicked devour the man that is more righteous than he. He cannot look upon evil. So these things we see, he hates, and the Most High will deal with you in that same manner to destroy them that hate him. So if you're in the sinning business, he's going to see you as he sees them. It's not that he cannot save you. Understand what I'm getting ready to say. He can't save you, but what you do is separates you from the Most High. So when you're sinning, it separates you from the Most High automatically. And when you separate from him, he don't know you. But let's get some understanding in there. Let's go to Isaiah 59 and get some understanding on that. It says, behold, the Lord's hand is not shortened that he cannot save. Exactly what we're always talking about. Neither his ear heavy, he cannot hear. So if you believe in the Most High cannot hear, they say, well, he won't hear my prayer. No, he can hear. Understand what he's saying. And his hands ain't too short to where he can't even save you. But think what if you're not doing according to the Most High commandments, then you need to fix it. His hand is not shortened to where he cannot save you. But if you separate yourself from him, it is not a scare tactic for you to go do this. This has to be in your heart. But will this really happen if you're not obeying the Most High in basically what he told you? Exactly what we're getting ready to find out. Verse 2. But your iniquities has separated between you and your God. Sin, as I've been harping on, separates us between him. And our sins have did what? Hid his face from you, that he will not hear. We're the hidden ones. Why? We're laden with sin. That's why it's telling you that in Psalms 83. Thy hidden ones, the sinful ones. This is what this is talking about. This is all the book is talking about. Understand what is going on. So once he hidden his face from you, guess what? We are forsaken of the Most High, even his protection, which makes us fall from his grace. One, because you know the truth and not willing to adhere to the truth. For that reason, you, not him, separate yourself from him, because we're full of what? We're full of sin. For your hands are defiled with blood, and your fingers with iniquity. Your lips have spoken lies, your tongue have uttered perverseness. This is what we're laden with. Our blood is full because what? We're not following his commandments, not understanding even the temple was a schoolmaster. The temple, understand this. The temple was a schoolmaster for what? To help the poor, the fatherless, the widows, and the strangers within the gates. That's what the temple was our schoolmaster for. The building where Yahushua went in and he did all that stuff, and then it went down. That was a schoolmaster. But many people teach us a different way. And it was a schoolmaster to get us to do what? To train us on what we need to do for long ago. And what it was to do is to take care of them. So why do you think Yahushua, when he came and he said, you do them good? Why? Because you're the temple. Understand that. We're going to get some understanding on that. It's not, this is not complicated, folks. It's not complicated. And I know I'm talking to highly intelligent people. This is not complicated. The temple was our schoolmaster. Our body is the temple. The temple took care of these people. You're the temple. Who's the servant? You're the servant. Let's put it together. 1 and 1 is 2. This is what we're doing. But he destroyed it because what? The temple, to bring the same as to the temple. He's going to destroy the temple if what? If you're laden with sin. We're supposed to be taking care of food, clothing, and shelter. Yahushua destroyed the building to change the way of Moses. Why? Let's see. Let's go to Acts 6, picking up at verse 14. It says, for we have heard him say that this Yahushua of Nazareth shall destroy this place and shall change the customs which Moses delivered us. What are those customs? The same custom I just said. To care for the poor Israelites, the widows, the fatherless, the strangers within the gates. You were commanded to take your tithes to the temple for training. Training what? To take how to take care of his people. This was training for us to care for one another. You seeing it physically, how we're supposed to be doing it. Present ourselves as vessels for service. Here it is. Romans 12 and 1. I beseech you therefore, brethren, but the mercies of Yahweh, that ye present your bodies as living sacrifices, holy, acceptable unto Yahweh, which is your reasonable service. This is what he wants you to do. Why? Because who are the Levites? And then the fake one that people like to say, the Nephilim. But Nephilim was temple servants. That's all they was. Why? Because We are members of the body of Yahushua, which tells you right here in 1 Corinthians 6:15. Know ye not that your bodies are the members of Christ, that ye are the members, and it shall take the members of Christ and make them the members of a harlot. God forbid. What is he saying here? You are members and workers of the temple, not being harlots, selling your bodies for service. God forbid. Why? Because you have these Sunday churches, Sabbath day churches included. You got some of them doing it, getting money, selling their body. That's why he's saying members of a harlot. Because you're doing it for money. They transferring this for money. This is what this is doing. So when you're in a church and they're telling you to bring tithes and offering to the temple, that's what this is doing. And make them members of a harlot. That's what it's doing, because it's transferring money. And it wasn't for that reason. It was to take care of the fatherless, the poor, the widows, and the strangers within the gates. Understand this, folks. The Bible is all connected. I know many of you guys sit there, it's all connected, because it's all connected. This is all connected. A harlot is paid. So if it's a church that's doing this, this is what it says. God forbid, don't do this. Our service is our bodies, because it is the temple. Check verse 19. Let's go down, drop down to 19. It says what? Know ye not that your body is the temple of the Holy Ghost, which is in you? You're the temple. You are the temple. The ones I'm speaking to, the Israelites I'm speaking to right now, you're the temple. When you see an Israelite brother out there and he's hungry, feed him. You're the temple. Don't go take it to the church. What you gonna go take it to a building for, and he gonna feed him once a week? Wake up. Get out the matrix and stop depending on a building to take care of your people. Stop looking at some man who's driving around in a $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 car and expecting him to take care of your people. Stop doing that. This is the problem. This is the problem we have today. So we are duty bound to take care of our poor, our widows. It is a commandment. Our bodies are the temples of God. We are the storehouse. So the poor, the widows, the fatherless, when they come to the temple, you seeking what? Food, shelter, clothing, not looking for a building, but what? You are the building. So many of us are what? Sleep. Back in the future, and the enemy has wiped away our memory banks right back there. So the main two things, they raping us of our wealth and increase until erase Israel from history. This is what they're doing. This is all they're doing. Wake up. You know, and sometimes when I do this, I don't mean to be coming so strong to this, but we have to understand what we're doing. Many of us are woke. Many of us know what's going on. Stop taking your hard-earned money. Stop doing all these services for this church, and you are the church. The wilderness is your battleground. This is why he sent out his disciples. As I keep saying, this is all connected. All connected. Their plan is to keep you in sin, in the matrix, while they erase our history and try to remove us from the future. This is what they're doing. Isaiah 59, picking it up at verse 4. None calleth for justice, nor any pleadeth for truth. They trust in vanity and speak lies. They conceive mischief and bring forth iniquity. In the matrix, they change things and to keep you asleep, to make you believe in vanity, non-truth. They develop anything to give us that would cause us to do what? To sin. This is what they're doing. Verse 5. They hatch cockatrice eggs and weave the spider's web. He have eaten their eggs, dieth. And it said, understand what this is saying. and that which is crushed breaketh out into a viper. So we eat those eggs. But what is a contrite eggs? It's a serpent. That's all contrite eggs is. A serpent. Contrite means serpent. And they weaved in the matrix, harvesting then what? To kill us of our lives are worth nothing. Showing you this is still truth as to them which is false. They twist it around on you. Understand what is going on, folks. Please understand this. Verse 6. Their web shall not become garments. So don't think they're going to cover you. Neither they cover themselves in their works. Their works are works of iniquity, sin. Their acts of violence is in their hands. Many believe they are covering in a knot. What I just said earlier, they taking this stuff to the churches, thinking the church is going to help everybody. Oh yeah, I didn't tithe this amount of money, and I didn't did this, and I didn't took this, and we didn't care for this, and some of the church, yeah, we go over here to this country and we take care of these people here. What is it telling you? You're the church. You have a brother sitting right there at the corner needing something to eat, and you sending your money to Zimbabwe. Many believe this is a covering. They're killing us in the open. Open. Your eyes are wide open. What? In jail? For any reason. Beat us on camera and justify it. Name it. And they're not going to change it either. But many believe they will do a march. We're going to march and do this. They marched with Martin back in the 40s, 50s, 60s. They marched. I'm going to ask you a question. You answer it for yourself. Are they killing us the same as they did back then? Why? Because you're seeking protection in a man. And your protection is in the Most High. We sit there and see an activist come forward, and we're going to put all our trust in him. And your protection is in the Most High. So they put a facade out there, and even as they put that facade out there, let me tell you how they twist you up in the matrix. So everybody put their trust in Martin. And they let you know, and we look at him as a savior. Understand what I'm saying? He looked at it as a savior, and what they do to him, killed him. Letting you know, we can take out who we want. We can let him set up, however you want to be. When we decide to take him out, we'll take him out. Because this is our world. This is our matrix, not yours. That's why you can march today, you can march tomorrow. You need to sit there, turn, put all your protection, all your faith in the Most High, not in a man. These preachers and teachers, they selling you a lie, telling you, bring all your things to the storehouse, and we're going to care for everybody. These are works of sin. These are acts of violence to the Most High. Verse 7. Their feet run to evil. Run to evil. And they make haste to shed innocent blood. Their thoughts and thoughts of iniquity, sin, wasting and destruction in their paths. You get in their path, they're taking you out. Point blank. It's pretty simple. They run to evil. Evil over there, let's go. Some evil going down over it, let's go. This is what they're doing. Verse 8. The way of peace they know not. They don't know the way of peace. There is no judgment in their going. They not holding to nothing. They have made them crooked paths. Whosoever goeth therein shall not know peace. So his path, so you go in there, you are not going to know peace. This is the bottom line deal. Verse 9. Therefore is judgment far from us, neither do justice overtake us. We wait for light, but behold obscurity, for brightness, but we walk in darkness. We looking for the light, can't find the light. Why? Because we laden with sin. It's hidden from us. We're hidden. For that reason, the Most High is far to judge even them, because justice has not overtaken us yet. Has it? But many of us have not discovered or know about it, or uncertain, and we go right back to sleep, looking for light, but we're walking in darkness. As I said before, the Most High cannot break his own laws. This is what we got to understand. If you walk contrary towards him, he must, not can, he must walk contrary towards us. He will forsake you just as he did Yahushua, which I'm going to show you this because most people don't even believe he had to forsake Yahushua. And I'm going to show you this. This is nothing that I'm bringing up to where, oh, well, he's saying this, and I'm going to show you in Scripture, he literally walked contrary to him. Many think he didn't do this, but watch. When sin is imputed on Yahushua, what happened? What happened? And we're going to go deep into this for a second and get an understanding. But what happened? Let's go to Matthew 27 and pick it up at verse 45. Now from the 6th hour there was darkness over the land until the 9th hour. But what happened? Verse 46. In about the 9th hour, Yahushua cried with a loud voice, saying, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani. That is to say, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? You know it wasn't no gall in his mouth, so you know he's not lying. So many say, well, no, that ain't with that. No, you know he's not lying. He's saying this. Why hast thou forsaken me? All sin was placed on him at that moment. And Yahweh can't do what? He can't look upon sin. So don't think that he has sin upon his son and then he's still looking at his sin. He can't break his own law. So if he's not going to break his law for him, don't ever think he's going to break his law for you. But we're going to get more into this. So he had to forsake him. Watch. Let's go to Isaiah 59 and 2. It says, but your iniquities have I separated between you and your God, and your sins have hid his face from you, and he will not hear. So this is what he had to do. But watch this. Let's go to Isaiah 54. Pick it up at verse 8. It says, for a small moment I have forsaken thee. For a small moment he forsaken thee, Yahushua, but with great mercies I gathered thee. So for a small moment he forsake Yahushua because what? Because he can't not look upon sin. But with great mercies he gathered Yahushua back. Verse 8. In a little while I hid my face from thee for a moment. Why? We had to put this sin up on you. I can't look upon it, but I put it on there and you had to go through my wrath. But with everlasting kindness I will have mercy on thee, saith Yahweh thy Redeemer. Understand this. This is what he had to do. The Most High had to walk contrary to Yahushua for a moment. He had to. And the main thing is, he was not an enemy that reapproached him to address such the expression of a disapproval or disappointment. But he must call upon the same one who was his own acquaintance. He had to call upon the same one. Watch how this works out. Yahweh is the one that did what? Let's watch. Let's go to Psalms 55, pick it up at 12. And it says, for it was not an enemy that reapproached me. This wasn't an enemy. This is what Yahushua is talking about. Then I could have borne it. Neither was neither was it he that hated me, that did magnify himself against me. Then I would have hid myself from him. Now this is an enemy that how was I talking about? But I'm gonna tell you something to remember. Remember King Kong? Remember the movie King Kong? Let me tell you a little bit of information about King Kong, because most people don't know about the inner workings of King Kong. King Kong is when a woman was up on the cross. Where was she? She was on Skull Island. Understand how Satan works. She was on Skull Island. Where was Christ? Where was it called? If you go and you write this down, I don't have this in there, but I'm just thinking, write this verse down and keep this. Matthew 27:33. It says, when they come unto the place called Golgotha, that is to say, the place of a skull. Understand what they're saying? So what are they doing? They was making fun of Christ. But he had to hide himself because of what? He was not an enemy. But watching many movies, the actual King Kong. See, because this is how they play with you. This is how they can play with us when you're going in and out the matrix. This is how they play with us, because some have infiltrated. But watch this. How many movies of Kong was made? Many think many, but I'm going to break this down to where we'll see. One was made in 1933, another in 1976, and one was made in 2005. But we know it was more than that. These movies was called King Kong. Understand what I'm saying? These was called King Kong. Now, there was another sequel made in 1933, but it was called The Son of Kong, not King Kong. Another one was made in 1986, and it was called King Kong Lives. In the last one, which was just made this year, guess what that one was called? Exactly the point. It was called Kong, Skull Island. Understand what they're doing. 3 was called King Kong, and they added the rest of the name. So Yahushua will return from death in how long? 3 days. Now we can read this, and I'm not going to go into it because it really stretched this out. But if you want to get that close understanding on that about Kong, on how they played with this, actually, I'll tell you what, I will go ahead and we'll hit it, because we'll only hit a few verses there to where we'll get this complete understanding. Let's go to Isaiah. This is not on the screen, so we can't see it on the screen. So let's go to Isaiah before we move down. Let's go to 14 and picking it up at verse 12. And we're going to look at this. It's not on the screen, so I want you to open your Bible and go in there, and we're going to look at it there, and we're going to move from there. And picking it up at 12. It says, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How thou art cut down to the ground, thy doer weaken nations. Understand how they're playing with you. It says, for thou hast said in thy heart, I will ascend into the heavens and exalt my throne above the stars of God. Now, King Kong was on the building, and he was on top of the world. What was above him? A plane coming out of where? Out of the clouds up above. What did it do? It killed King Kong. Understand the game they're playing with you. Understand how they like to work your mind. Most people just think it was a good movie, but we're going to keep moving. It says, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds and will be like the Most High. Understand what that's saying. He's going to be there. So Kong is us, and they have exalted themselves above us. That's all it's basically saying. And it says, yet thou shalt be brought down to hell in the sides of the pit, and they shall see and shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble and did shake kingdoms? That made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof? That opened not the house of his prisoners? Understand what this is saying, y'all. Understand how they play this game with you. Understand that they know what's going on. So We have to understand what this King Kong is going on about. Let's go to verse 13 back over here. It says, but it was thou, a man of my equal, my guide, my acquaintance. So a man of his equal, not in stature, but in quality or nature, a group or classification, a spirit. That's all. But we always know Yahweh is greater than Yahushua. So a man of his equal, a man of his same quality in nature or group of classification. That's all he's saying. To guide my acquaintance, verse 14, we took sweet counsel together and walked unto the house of Yahweh in company. Understand what's going on. Understand what was happening here. This is all it's talking about. So they walked together. So in need, we still have to call upon him. So that's why Yahushua still had to call upon the Most High, no matter what. Psalm 55:16. He says, as for me, I will call upon Yahweh, and Yahweh shall save me. So Yahushua will call upon his Father to save him. So there's still no choice there. And how are you going to do it? He cried out with a loud voice. Let's see it. Verse 17. Evening and morning and at noon I will pray and cry aloud, and he should hear my voice. So he's still saying, no matter what, he still got to call. The same one putting his wrath upon him, he still have to call upon the same one. Verse 18. He had delivered my soul in peace from the battle that was against me. And it was the ones who was here that was against me, for there were many with me. Verse 19. Yahweh shall hear and afflict them, even he that abideth of old, Selah, because they have no changes, therefore they fear not God. Because they don't fear him. Understand it. We have many, even Israelites, do not fear God at all. Many will not change the way because of sins of the old ways. Verse 20. He had put forth his hands against such as be at peace with them. He had broken his covenant. Exactly what we're doing. Yahushua was not a sinner. And he was not did the same thing. So he was not going to see corruption. That was the whole point of this. Psalm 16, picking up at verse 10, it says, for thou wilt not leave my soul in hell, neither will thou suffer thy Holy One to see corruption. That's all it was saying. So we knew this all happened. So now we know the Most High is not playing favorites. This is the point I wanted you to see. If he's not playing favorites, so if you walk contrary unto him willingly, and knowing you're doing it, he has no choice but to walk contrary unto you. So don't think that you're better than Yahushua, because when he imputed all that sin on Yahushua, he had to forsake Yahushua. He also had to put some wrath upon him. So don't think he won't do you. Many, you got some guy think, man, I'm God, gift to the world. Understand what just happened there. Understand some of the women think they're the same way. Understand. Don't think you're too cute to the way that won't happen to you. Yahweh is not playing. This is a serious business, and many people, they go back in the future to where they can wipe our mind clean from this history, and not knowing what's going on to do what? To laden us with sin. This is why they want to erase us from history, to keep us in that matrix in the way of sin, by any means necessary. So don't think they don't know this, because they do. Many say, well, they might don't know. They know this. Let's look at Judith, and I'm going to show you something. Now, this is where one came to talk to them because they wanted to go against the Israelites. So I'm picking it up at Judith 5. But if you 5:17, but if you go read up at the top of verse 5 in chapter 5 in Judith, you'll see this whole thing how it lays out. It says, when they sinned before their God. When they sinned not before their God, they prospered, because the God hateth iniquity was with them. So we know clearly, they know the plan. They can stay always connected to the Most High when they don't sin. But watch this, verse 18. But when so you know they're also not talking about themselves, they're talking about Israelites. So you see how he's saying, but when they departed from the way which he appointed them, something he told us to do, they were destroyed in many battles very sore, and were led captives into a land that was not theirs. And the temple of their God was cast to the ground, and their cities was taken by enemies. Understand, this is why he's saying this. So when they sinned, they were destroyed in battle. We lost every time, because he's not with us. This is what they know. You got to remember, he's telling them about us because they looking to take over us. But watch how they plan this out. Verse 19. It says, but now they are returned to their God, and all come up from their places where they were scattered, and have possessed Jerusalem, where their sanctuary is. There's only one place. That's where the sanctuary is. And actually, many people, it's an old movie called Warriors, and they were trying to get back to their sanctuary. See, they play games with us all the time. And I know some of you young people probably don't know, but the older ones my age, I know they know about the old movie called The Warriors, gang movie, and a whole bunch of other stuff. But and they were seated in the hill country, for it was desolate. But when they returned to the commandments, when we knew, we all right. Verse 20. Now therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error in these people, any error in these Israelites, and they sinned against their God. See, now he's telling, this is what we know the law is on them, by law. Not just on them, but law he even imputed on himself, that the Most High even have on himself. This is what they're saying. So if any sin is against their God, let us consider that this shall be their ruin, and let us go up, and we shall overcome them. Because they know the Most High is not going to break his law. This is what they know. So if they know this, they know they can do this if you're sinning, because they know his hands are tied. They know all he can do is look on, the same way many mothers and fathers, when cops are out there beating on their children, your hands are tied, because if you do anything, you get in trouble. So they sit right there and they do this to people and do them in those ways, and you can't do anything about it. You just sit and you just look at that hopelessly, because you can't do nothing. And all they got to do is see that you're in sin. That's it. And they know that they'll overcome you, because they know your protector can't touch you. Verse 21. But if there be no iniquity, if there be no sin in their nation, let my Lord now pass by. You say, if we go down there and they doing the Most High commandments, we need to keep it moving. Least their Lord, not Martin Luther King, not Farrakhan, not anybody else, that these activists, least their Lord defend them, the Most High. That's who's going to defend you. Not some activists. Not some march. Go back to him. He's the one that does this. And their God be for them. And we become a reapproach before all the world. Why? He already knows this. Because if you look earlier, he tells you about what happened in Egypt. He knows what's going on here. This is why we have to understand it. So however he weakened as nations, we know we know what we need to know and move on. Because anyone will become prey to the Most High for his people. So Martin ain't gonna never save anybody. Same as Obama, any other man. Only Yahweh. That's it. That's it. No one else. So how are we able to continue to do this? Remember this, the definition of sin. I want you to understand this understanding here. Sin. Clearly understand what sin is. Sin is an elaborate conception with great influence in Semitic culture and a strong ethical, moralistic character to an ancient, even in today's Israelites' makeup. That's part of what is going on. So even in the terms of sin, in the Old Testament writers describes as like mankind being evil or sin in a wide range of additional terms. So the root signifies like a criminal wrongdoing or wickedness. So the objective is a common word used collectively for what? Wicked. Ethical or moral badness, or designated by the root of various forms. For the root indicate evil, distress, injury, misery, calamity. The root crosses over even, may be used in our brief of our transgression, divine statutes, commandments. So hence, transgression to disobey Yahweh, God is despise him, to spurn him, to refuse or reject his rule or lord over his purchase. This is what sin actually really, what I'm trying to get you to understand here. The person who rejects him in his value, godless, profane, the wickedness, and reinvert. Sometimes sin is also designated by the word which is also described as loathsome or inherit, which is inherit means just hated, that are to God, but constitute the term for like taboo as like criminal violence, dishonesty, treachery, oppression, and you also have like injustice or senselessness, carelessness, denounced also by the prophets. So that's pretty much what sin is, and you're gonna always see all that makeup always there. So when he looked upon the earth, it was corruption. And we'll see this in Genesis 6 and picking it up in verse 11. It says, and the earth was corrupted before God, and the earth was filled with violence. So it's letting you know it's joining the two. So the earth was corrupted before the Most High, and all flesh had corrupted its way. So what happens? It opens you up right from verse 12. So Yahweh looked upon the earth, and behold, there was, and it was corrupted. For all flesh had corrupted his way upon the earth. So this is how they can keep us in the matrix. This is how they can go back in the future and constantly alter what we're doing. This is the game that they play. Understand what to see, and as I continue to say game, the game is serious. Because we're looking at eternity, folks. This is what we have to understand. Let's see what sleep is. Let's go over to Exodus 32 and pick it up at 23. It says, for they said unto me, make us God. And you see, now this is Aaron speaking to Moses. And which shall go before us. As for Moses, the man that brought us up out of the land of Egypt, out of the land of bondage, he won't not what is become of him. So as soon as he disappeared for a half a second, they are already looking to try to erect another God. And you're going to try to make it with hands. To go before God. They're doing what? Believing in everything other than what it is. That's what I said. Verse 24. And it says unto them, whosoever have any gold, let them break it off. So they gave it me. Then I cast in the fire, and there came out this calf. Believing in gold, wood, stone, molten calves, or whatever. This is what they did. They did it back then. Guess what? Doing it right now. Because these are many of these people gods. So don't think that it's doing any differently. This is what it's talking about. This is what we're doing. This is what we believe in. This is what keeps us inserted. Verse 25. And when Moses saw the people were naked. How he saw them naked? Same as in Adam and Eve. He see their sin. They were sinners. For Aaron had made them naked unto their shame amongst their enemies. You see that? This is the problem. They had made them go to sleep amongst our enemies. They inserted them back into the matrix against our enemies. So Moses seen he was naked, just like Adam and Eve, as I just said. So open to our enemies, just as they want. Just as I said right in Judith 5:20. Now therefore, my Lord Governor, if there be any error in this people, in their sins, and they sin against their God, let us consider that this should be their ruin, and let us go up, and we shall overcome them. I'm just quoting Judith. Literally, that's what that's doing. That's the main point. So we don't believe in the Most High, but we believe in fish, blonde hair, blue eyes, Gentiles is the main ones putting this in you. See, this is what they're doing. See, the Matrix is removing our books, telling you they're not valid books. They'll tell you, well, the Apocrypha is not real, but the book wasn't even written to you. But you're going to tell me what's valid in there, and you're going to tell me what should be in there. Yeah, well, we done studied it, and we see this not valid. Who are you? See, this is the point. So we have many people who will always denounce the Apocrypha, but guess what? It's not for everybody, because all Israelites not going. So all you need to do is to give them the word. If they reject it, you kick the dust off your feet and you keep moving. Understand that. So others will see how you're keeping the sin through what? Through abomination. It's repugnant or detestable acts. That's all this is. See, an abomination, most people say, well, that's not too bad. No, abomination, that's why he used these harsh words. These are things that God hates. An idea of abomination derived from specific demands from God that's made upon people to be holy. Understand that. The adjective is frequently used for abomination in the Old Testament, or abhorred, which means hated. Loathsome is called hatred or disgust, repulsive, unclean, and rejected by the Most High. These are things that he hates. We have to understand. Let's get this understanding. Let's go to Proverbs. Picking it up at 6 in verse 19. It says, these 6 things do the Lord hates. Yea, 7 are an abomination unto him. He hates these things. They are abominations to him. What are they? 17. A proud look, a lying tongue, the hand that shed innocent blood. A proud look, lying tongue. Well, that knocks out pretty much most Sunday preachers, because you have many of them to where you can't even get to them. Many of them have gotten big time places, and now when you even try to get to them, you got to make appointments, and you might be scheduled because they also scheduled to go out to go speak somewhere else for some more money as they getting your money. This is what they do. Same as people sit there and look at, well, you know, we should be able to do this or be able to do that. They have a proud look. You have many of them even teachers and have that proud on them. Understand that. Understand what they do. That shed innocent blood. Verse 18. A heart that devises wicked imaginations. Feet that be swift in running to mischief. The same feet that I told you would like to run to sin. Talking about the same thing. Can't wait to get to it. You got people who go to church, who literally go to these churches just to get more dirt on Susan B. or Jenny Hot B. Such and such over here doing this. I need to get there next week to see what they're doing. See, this is what's going on. This is what we need to understand. This is why we have these problems. Wicked imaginations. You see sin and you run right to it. It's like a magnet. Because I'm going to tell you why, now you're like a junkie. You had this kryptonite, you got to go get another fix. To stay asleep. This is all this talking about. Verse 19. A false witness that speaks lies. He that showeth discord among brethren. They'll sit there and lie on a brother. Lie on a sister. This is what we do. We'll do it and won't think nothing about it. False witness, speak lies. Just continually do it. So it's more, but I'm going to show you even one that he hates. And most people, they sit there, well, why are you always talking about food? Because we're going to look at that one. Because he hates that too. But I'm going to show you that because I want you to understand exactly what he hates. So if I can get you to where you can see him in his full glory, you'll understand what this means. You'll understand to where I need to understand my Father. I need to understand this because guess what? If I don't do this, I'm going to be destroyed. That's the point. I want you to see that. Let's look at this. Let's go to Leviticus 11. Picking it up at verse 10. It says, and if you go look at Leviticus 11, the whole chapter, it's going to tell you all the things he hates and everything you don't supposed to be eating and what you should be eating. It says, and all that have no fins nor scales in the seas and in the rivers and all that move in the waters and all living things which is in the waters, they shall be an abomination to you. They should be hated by you because he hates them. Why? And I'm going to show you how they laden us with sin. And I'm when 99% of the things I say, don't think that I'm talking at people because I'm including me in it also because I was laden with it too. And one of the favorite things we do that to keep us laden in sin, catfish. No fins nor scale. And same thing, that's all I used to order. When I used to go to a fish place or we have a fish fry, whatever, that was my fish. Catfish. But I'm going to tell you what, no, I can't deal with that. Another thing, lobsters, sea roaches, crabs, sea roaches, those are little ones more, oysters, crawfish. When they have these things, you just can't wait to get to them. You want to hurry up and get to them. These things, it is hated by the Most High. They shall be an abomination to you. Let's go to verse 11. They shall be even an abomination to you. Ye shall not eat of their flesh, but ye shall have their carcasses in abomination. So even their carcasses is abomination. Some people are going to hate what I'm getting ready to say, but guess what? Got to say it. Meaning what? Making this for your loved ones. Your husband might not be into it, or your wife might not be. Well, we're going to tell you what, honey. Well, I still want catfish, and we're going to tell you what. Either you're going to choose the Most High, or you're going to choose Him. You don't even want to touch the flesh of those. This is what this is talking about. So even, it says, but you shall have their carcasses even an abomination. So even just the body of it is an abomination. So when they sit there and say, honey, can you make this for me? Well, no, you can make it yourself. I can't deal with it. This is what this is talking about. This is the problem that most people they'll sit there, well, no, it should be. No, you can't. You can't do it. Because it's a line in the sand. He's telling you, that's why even Yahweh Shai said, who is my mothers? Who is my brothers? Who is my sisters? See, this is why he said that. Either you're going to be on his side or you're going to be on their side. He's not pulling no punches. You're going to make a choice. You're not going to straddle a fence. You're not going to dance on both sides. You're going to either choose his side or the other side. Because he's going to make this perfectly clear. Verse 12. Whatsoever have no fins nor scales in the waters, it shall be an abomination unto you. Making this clear as day. It don't have no skins and no scales and no fins. Leave it alone. Period. This is what he's saying. Verse 13. And whatsoever have no fins nor scales in the waters, it shall be an abomination to you. And then verse 13, And these are which ye shall have in abomination among the fowls. They shall not be eaten. They are an abomination. They are hated. The eagle, the ostrich, and the osprey, and it goes into a lot of other stuff. But if you read all of chapter 11 in Leviticus, it's going to tell you this. And it goes for what? Let's make this clear. Let's go up to verse 7, and it says, even the swine. This is one I just want to make sure and put in our memory bank and make sure we understand this. In the swine. It's not a pig, it's a swine. Though he divided the hoof, it be cloven footed, yet he cheweth not the cud. It is unclean to you. It is an abomination. Baby back rib, short rib, nose, ears, tail, feet, guts. These are an abomination. They are unclean to you. Period. Well, can you make them for me? No. And I was one of the ones, and I used to be one of those braggarts where I can go out there and burn up a barbecue pit. But on my pits, and I have new pits out there, on my pit, beef, lamb, no more pork. That's the bottom line there, and I will not make it for you at all. Will not cook it for you at all. This is where you have to draw the line. Because what it's going to do, when you're doing these abominations, guess what it do? Let's look at Deuteronomy 18 and 12. For all that do these things are an abomination unto the Lord. Exactly the point. And because of these abominations, the Lord thy God doeth drive them from before thee. He separates himself from you. So am I willing to separate myself for that? No. So if you're doing these things and you're still in the matrix, justifying these are clean, and they're not. So the Lord, we got to remember one main thing. All you got to do is keep in mind Malachi 3 and 6. Most time when I speak to people and some people call me or some people email me, I run to that every time. Malachi 3 and 6. For I'm the Lord, I change not. We know he didn't change. So don't never think he clean. They was dirty back here and then they clean now. He never changed. So remember that and know that if you're not keeping his commandments, and you're not doing them, and he said they clean something, and you know he didn't, you know they're a flat out liar. They not being untrue, no, they lying. Let's see how they say it. Let's look at 1 John 2 and 3. It says, whereby we know that we know him if we keep his commandments. This is how you know if you know him. This allows you to move in and out the matrix. You know the keys to it. And once you know the keys to it, there any way you choose, and you have some going to continue to sit there to say they know him, but they keep him not. And that goes into verse 4. He that said he know him and keepeth not his commandments is a liar, and the truth is not in him. Understand this. So many like to use that famous verse, because we're going to look at that. Many like to use the famous verse, and they like to say, well, the sheet came down on Peter. He told Peter to slay and eat. Let's see. Let's go to Acts 10. Pick it up at verse 11. It says, and saw heaven open and a certain vessel descending unto him, and he had been a great sheet that four corners that let down to the earth. Verse 12. Therein all manner of four-footed beasts of the earth, and wild beasts, and creeping things, and fowls of the air. Now, these things that come down are abominations. But watch this. Verse 13. And there came a voice to him, rise, Peter, kill, and eat. Now, we do know that Peter says later on, not so, Lord. I have never eaten anything that was common and unclean. Now he's telling the Lord against what it was, because it wasn't a commandment. Understand? He was trying to get Peter to understand something. So as Peter was trying to get to understand it, Peter even knew he was trying to understand something. Let's drop down to verse 17 and see and validate this. So it says, while Peter doubt in himself what this vision which it has seen should mean. Not should he eat it or not, what the vision mean. Behold, men which were sent from Cornelius had made inquiry for Simon's house and stood before the gate. So Peter was just trying to find out what the vision meant, seeing that they were starting with unclean food, starting from the law. So once Peter understood the meaning, let's see what Peter says. Let's drop down to verse 28. He said unto them, ye know how that it is unlawful thing for a man that is a Jew to keep company. He's not saying Israelite, and that's a whole nother teaching within itself. To keep company with another nation. But God hath showed me that I should not call any man common or unclean. Now, basically saying, see, Cornelius could have been from the tribe out of the Israelite side, out of the northern. Peter's from the southern side, calling himself a Jew. But that's another teaching within itself. So this is one way how you can actually determine most times which side people come from, because Peter is a Jew. That's why he's claiming Jew. But so you know he's from the southern. He's from the southern tribe. Northern tribes are called Israelites. They call from the northern side. That's how you know. That's how you know the difference. And that's what was going on right here. But that's another teaching within itself. So we know that now what was going on here, because Cornelius was calling himself an Italian from the Italian band, same as calling themselves Greeks. It was doing the same thing. They were calling themselves Greeks, Grecians. So the sin of one Israelite can also fall upon the entire congregation under the twisted and false doctrine. Many people think they can't, but everybody in that congregation can fall based on one person. Let's see this, and we're going to see how one person can also save people. Let's go to Joshua 20, 22 and 20. And it says, did not Ahan, the son of Zerah, commit a trespass in a cursed thing? And the wrath fell on all. See that? On all the congregation of Israel. So it's got a question mark there. So it's letting you know this happened. And it said, did not. See, so it's saying, didn't this happen? All Israel. It's letting you know this happened. That a man perished not alone in his iniquity. Let's understand what goes on here, folks. Verse 21. Then the children of Reuben, the children of Gad, and half the tribe of Manasseh answered and said unto the heads of 1,000 Israel. So they knowing that, if we're faking or not, if we're sin within ourselves, so we are to make sure, we are to remember, not going to choose the way, but we must keep the dust off our feet and make sure the ones that we deal with, they don't want to take it, we need to move forward. So we just need to make sure we have this clear understanding, because the Lord God of gods, the Lord of God of gods, you see how you repeating this? He knoweth. In Israel, he know. So if it be in rebellion or if in transgression against Yahweh, save us not this day. Making it clear. So even you men who know that you shouldn't be doing it, and same how you see loving your mothers and this and that, saying they use a mother as a spirit to show you how the loving kindness side, because the man's side is a more different type of love, how it will show even the children. But you'll see when it refers to women. So that's why even when people go look, and you'll see when the spirit is always based in the feminine tense, because it's letting you know the love that it tries to show. In the feminine tense, and to even give you a good example of that, the true care of a child with a mother when a child get hurt, the child can be with the daddy all day, especially a little boy, can be with the daddy all day being roughed up. But as soon as he get hurt, who do he run to? He got a little what you call boo-boo on his knee, and the first thing he do, he run to the mama. The son, we trying to tell him, suck it up. And she'll sit there, she kiss on the boo-boo, this and that, and all of a sudden he fine, well and good, and all the love in the world. But with the fathers, I have 2 sons, I didn't treat them like that. My daughter either, but my daughter, she gets away with murder, but that's another thing within itself. But the main thing is, women treat children differently. When they look for a lot of consoling and all that, they run to the mother. That different soul. So we're gonna look at Sarah or Ecclesiasticus 4, and we're gonna get some understanding there. And we're gonna say, as my son, defraud not the poor of his living, and make not the needy eyes wait long. This is what we are supposed to do when we know and we can travel freely in and out the matrix. This is what we need to be doing. Verse 2. Make not a hungry soul sorrowful, neither provoke a man in his distress. Understand what this is saying. Go back and I want you to read this, because I'm not going to comment too much on this. And it says, in more trouble in a heart that is vexed, and defer not to give him that is in need. All this is what we need to be doing while we in and out the matrix. Reject not the supplication of the afflicted, neither turn away thy face from a poor man. Turn not away thy eyes from the needy, and give him no occasion to accurse thee. For it is a curse thee in bitterness if of his soul. His prayer shall be heard of him that is made him. So if you're doing him wrong, he's going to hear of it. Get thyself in love of congregation, and bow thy head to great men. Let it not grieve thee to bow down thy ear to the poor. So all they're saying is, don't, if he's poor, don't sit there and think you can't come down to his level. Hear what he got to say. If he's hungry, you can take care of him. You ain't too high and mighty where you can't help this person. Give him a friendly answer in meekness. Verse 9. Deliver him that suffereth wrong from the hand of the oppressor, and be not faint-hearted when thou sittest in judgment. Understand this. Verse 10. Be as a father unto the fatherless men, and instead of being a husband to their mothers. I know this don't take rocket science to understand what this is saying, because some only want to be a father to get with the mother and thinking they're going to be doing favors, and they still have somebody already at home. But we're not going to even get into that. I just want you to go back, read this one chapter, and get that understanding. So shall that be as a son of the Most High, and he shall love thee more than thy mothers do it. Wisdom exalteth her children, the spirit, and layeth hold of them that seek her, the spirit. He that loveth the spirit loveth life, and they seek her early and shall find with joy. This is all this is speaking of. Verse 13. And holdeth her fast, and shall inherit glory. And whosoever she entereth, letting you know it's the spirit, the Lord will bless. That's what it's talking about. That they serve her shall minister to the Holy One. Exactly what it's saying. In them that love her, and the Lord doeth love. Whoso giveth ear unto her shall judge nations. And he that attendeth unto her shall dwell securely. If a man commit himself unto her, he shall inherit her. And his generation shall hold her in possession. For it is the first she will walk with him by crooked ways, but bringeth fear unto dread upon him, and torment him with her discipline. This is what's going to happen. Until she may trust his soul and try him by her laws. This is all self-explanatory. Then will she return to the straight way unto him, and comfort him, and show him her secrets. Verse 19. But if he go wrong, she will forsake him. So this letting you know the Spirit's going to leave you if you're doing wrong. And give him over to his own ruin. Observe the opportunity and beware of evil. Be not ashamed wherein concerneth thy soul, for there is a shame that bringeth sin, and there is a shame that bringeth glory and grace. Accept no person against thy soul. This is exactly what I'm saying. And let not the reverence of any man cause thee to fall. So the people out there who call themselves reverend this and reverend that, okay, you putting them above God. Literally what you're doing. Because you shouldn't reverence no man. But they like to do this. So, for by speech wisdom be known, and learning by the word of tongue, in no wise speak against the truth. Be abased in the error of thy ignorance. Be not ashamed to confess thy sins, and force not the course of the river. Make not thyself an underlying to a foolish man. And what is a foolish man? Is a person to which most people like to go sit in these churches under, which you'll see even in you can look at Matthew 7:26 and 27 and 26, and you can see that and he actually speaking about that. But then it says, be not hasty in thy tongue, and thy deeds slack and remiss. Be not as a lion in the house, and frantic among thy servants. Let not thy hand be stretched out out to receive, and shut when thou shouldest repay. Now you know preachers do this all day long. This is something they do all day long. So Jeremiah even singled this out about these preachers, which we're going to look at, which in Jeremiah 10:21. It says, for the pastor become brutish, and they have sought the Lord, therefore they shall not prosper, and all their flocks shall be scattered. So this is what's going on. So in the matrix, understanding that Yahushua operating within the matrix, which is a complex encounter between Israelites and society within an international cultural mixtures, making themselves Hellenists in forms of fools to truth. So these are things we need to understand. The ones that open up the matrix is a clear choice to make. Are you asleep? Or are you not? But not by a long shot. We have a job to do, and we need to do our job. Let's look at Exodus 13:1. And it says, and the Lord shall speak unto Moses, saying what? We are watchmen. Sanctify unto me all firstborn, whosoever openeth the womb among the children of Israel, both men and beasts, is mine. We're his. If you open up that matrix, you're his. And we're going to find this out because he's going to even clarify this. Let's go down to verse 3. Moses said unto the people, remember this day, which ye came up out from bondage, out from the house of bondage. For by strength, by the hand of Yahweh brought you from this place. There shall no leavened bread be eaten. Watch. This is why. Ezekiel 33:6. But if a watchman see the sword come, talking about us, letting you know it's us, and blow not the trumpet, and the people be not warned, if the sword come and take any person from among them, he is taken away in his iniquity. So we didn't see somebody doing something wrong, and we didn't blow that trumpet. We didn't let them know. And he's taken away in iniquity, but his blood will I require at the hand of the watchman's hands. It's on you, because you knew what the truth was. You moving around back and forth out that matrix. You knew, and you chose not to do anything. He's going to get you for that. You let them know, they take it or not, kick the dust off your feet, and you keep on moving. Because what? These are the oracles of God that Israelites has, that seek him. Understand this. Verse 7. So thou, O son of man, I have set thee a watchman in the house of Israel. We are watchmen in the house. We woke up. We know what's going on. Therefore, thou shalt hear the word of my mouth and warn them from me. Warn them. Let them know what's going on. We don't do it, it's on us. Verse 8. And when I say unto that wicked, O wicked man, thou shalt surely die, if thou doest not speak to warn the wicked from his way, the wicked man shall die in his sins, in his iniquity. But his blood will I require at thy hand. He putting it right back on you. He's going to die in this sin, but you knew better. And I'm going to punish you for doing that. Why? Because you knew the oracles of God. Let's look at Sarah 33:3. A man of understanding trusteth in the law, which is you. And the law is faithful unto him, which is you, as an oracle. So don't let the future be taken when you're dealing with the future inside the matrix. So right now, we're in a Moab. Getting the information we need so when we leave out and go into the matrix, or we need help, we can call one another. We can be equipped on what we need because the building is the Moab is right now. This is what we need to understand. This is what we have to always remember. So even in what it says, even with Abraham, in the worship expression, it always says in Genesis 22:5, and Abraham said unto the young man, abide with you here with the ass, and I and the lad will go yonder and worship and come to you again. What is he saying? Even though you got some that's not Israel, he's letting you know, the ones who are not Israelite is not going inside the temple of worship. They will be outside the gate. That's why it's saying this here, it's making it clear right here. And worship is a worship of expression of reverence and adoration to God. This is the reason why even Rahab, as I told you earlier, was saved. Not worship, but she blessed some Israelites that blessed Abraham, that same as like Abraham was blessed. Let's look at that real quick. It says, and the man said unto her in Joshua 2:17, we will be blameless if thy oath which thou have made us swear. But we're going to see how Rahab was dealing with them. She was dealing with them in a certain way because she wasn't stupid. It was ill will against the Israelite way on however she placed on them and made sure that she was going to make a deal with them. But we're going to see this in 1 second. Let's go down to verse 18. It says, behold, when they come into the land, thou shalt bind the line of scarlet in the window which thou doest let down by, and thou shalt bring thy father and thy mother and thy brother and all thy father's household unto thee. How is this happening? We're going to see how this is going to happen because they gave her instructions on what she must do to fulfill the vow to her. Because if she didn't, they weren't going to be guilty. So she must follow the instruction that was given to her to live. But we're going to see how Rahab made that deal with these Israelites on what they must do to fulfill this vow. We're going to see this in 1 second. Verse 19. And it shall be whatsoever thou shalt go out the doors of thy house into the street. So they saying if anybody go outside your doors, they're going to get knocked off. His blood should be upon his head. So they giving them like this Israelite vow, but they telling them, this is how you got, as long as you stay within that house with that scarlet, you're going to be safe. And they will be guiltless, and whosoever should be with thee in thy house, his blood shall be upon his head, and thy hand upon him. Watch how she dealt with this. Let's go up and let's look at it a little bit. This is Rahab dealing with them. We're going to look at Joshua 2:12. It says, now therefore I pray to you, swear unto me by the Lord, since I have shown you kindness. So don't think that Rahab wasn't there, but Rahab knew who their God was. Why? Because of the fame. She knew what was going on. And I showed kindness, that you would show kindness unto my father's house and give me a true token. See, she wanted a true token. because she want to be dealt with. She ain't stupid. She's a harlot, but she ain't stupid. So in a harlot, so you know she might have dealt with one or two of these Israelites in her job thing. So let's go to 13. In that ye will save alive my father and my mother and my brother and my sister and all they have, and deliver us alive from death. So she's making a deal with these two spies. Watch this. Let's go to verse 14. And the man answered her, our life for yours. If ye utter not our business, it shall be when the Lord have given us the land. He's telling you who's doing this. The Lord giving us the land, that we shall deal kindly and truly with thee. Let them know plain as day what's going on. That deal was being made. Let's see how this turns out. Let's jump down to Joshua 6:21. And this is when they came into the land to do what they were going to do. And they utterly destroyed and all that was in the city, both man and woman, and young and old, ox, sheep, ass with the edge of the sword, roaches, rats, everything died. Period. They're making sure that's clear. Verse 22. And Joshua said unto the two men that had spied out the country, go unto the harlot's house and bring out thence the woman and all that she hath, as ye swear unto her. They made a vow to her and they're going to keep it. And Joshua made sure they're going to keep it. As he said, he's going to bless them that bless you. Let's get a little bit more. 23. And the young men that were spies went in and brought out Rahab and her father and her mother and her brother and all that she had, and brought out all her kindred, and left without the camp of Israel. Understand that. This is what is going on. Verse 24. And they burnt the city with fire, and all that was therein, only the silver and gold and the vessels of brass and the iron was put in the treasury of the house of the Lord. This is letting you know plain as day. And verse 25 shows you exactly what is going on. 25, and Joshua saved Rahab the harlot alive in her father's household and all that she had, and she dwelt in Israel even until this day, because she hid the messengers which Joshua sent to spy out Jericho. This is what's going on. Why it went this way? Because they made a deal, and we have to keep our vow. The vow we made, Israelites made, we got to keep them. We ain't talking about everybody. Israelite make it, better keep it. Why? Because she knew something, and she made the deal. Why? Because this is why. Let's go to Genesis 12:2. Because he told Abraham, I will make thee a great nation. She knew this. And I will bless thee. And I will make thee a great name, and thou shalt be a blessing. He's going to be a blessing. How? This is how. I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curse thee. And in thee shall all families, it's not talking about all the world, it's talking about the 12 tribes. All families of the earth be blessed. This is what it's talking about. And it's talking about the Moab. So all the tribes, that's what it's talking about, which he's getting into. We need to understand what is going on. So once you understand that, we'll get this down to where, you know, dealing with different people and dealing with different things, we have to always remember what we are doing and what we are about. We have to make sure to where when we're dealing with the Most High, and we can go back and forth inside and outside of the matrix, we have to understand when we're dealing with back and forth, we know what's going on. But with that, we're going to be going through other teachings. So mainly, most teachings that I even do even today, these teachings I do that is out in public, these are mainly general teachings which I give you many precepts. But right now we are developing a Moab, because what we have done, when I opened up for the Bible study teachings, we actually got flooded a great deal with a lot of people. And once we got really filled up, we had a lot of people who thought I was being preferential treatment to the United States and doing different things. So what we're doing for the lost sheep of Israel, for the church that I run, we're developing a Moab, to where people from, not just from the United States, but from other countries, they will all be able to join in at one time. So what we were going to do the past week, we were going to send out the emails, but we got flooded so badly with people who was coming in late and they wanted to join in. And we have to remember one thing: when you want to know the truth, we can't turn you away. And I believe some people already knew that that's the way the school operated. So we can't turn you away for no reason. So many people came in late and said there's still time. So you will always be able to join in. But what we're going to do within the Moab, understand what I'm getting ready to say here, within the Moab is only for Israelites. It's not for everybody. It's for Israelites only. Because in there, I'm going to be giving you other precepts within the Bible to give you complete understanding in many sections of the Bible. Same as Abraham did. No difference. We need to understand what our oracles are about. We need to understand this book. Open teachings we will continually do. But within that Moab, we're going to do teachings a whole nother way. We're going to get an understanding. It'll be also where we can talk back and forth. Anybody can raise hands to where they can be the speaker, and then we can take these questions in and we can get those answers to them. Because this is a dialogue which we got to go back and forth to where you have to understand Scripture within itself. This is why we were doing that. So once we do this, and this is set up, and we pretty much got it almost set up, but we do apologize for that, but we didn't know we were going to get bombarded the way we did. We thought we might get a couple of hundred and we'd be fine, but it didn't do it. It went way different. But what we're doing, we're setting this up for them to where we would do this and we would completely be able to run through. So with that, once you get in, everybody who already sent emails, you're going to get an email directly from either from me or from one of my assistants. And it's going to let you know your username, your password to come in, and once you go in, you can change your password to whatever you want. But you're going to go in and you'll be in that Moab to where, and that's all it means is a synagogue, but it's a meeting place. That's what that actually means. You're going in there. We have a prescribed time where we're going there, and we will be going through many different teachings, but a lot deeper studies, to where you'll be able to make sure these connections happen. This is not some teaching where people go off and teach about, 1,500-foot giants and all this. This is showing you exactly how to precept and completely understand the Bible. Telling you what? It's going to tell you how to precept it. It's going to tell you how to get your lines. It's going to tell you how to get your little here, little there. Also, what also going to show you? It's going to show you how you use the Bible as a dictionary. It's going to show you how you use the Bible as a commentary. None of your thoughts is going to be your own personal thought. All your thoughts are going to come directly from the Bible. Once you're able to do that, that keeps you in His protection. That always keeps you with Him. This is what we'll be teaching. And to do that, you'll be able to use other connections that people don't see, but then you can open their eyes up to this, to where they'll see it, and they'll literally see it and they'll understand it. So it'll be up to them if they choose to go that direction or not. Because we got to remember this: there is no scripture that involves interpretation. See, most people think it involves interpretation. So when they say this is the interpretation thereof, because what it's saying is it's telling somebody they didn't know what it meant, and he's just telling you this is what it actually meant. And we're going to show you many things that is showing you what it meant all the time, but we have to show you what the precepts are to where you can pull it. So with that, I wish that this teaching you guys were greatly edified, and I hope that this teaching, many of you learned a lot from it. But with that Moab, make sure if you can get that email out, You got some time to do it, because once they finish it, we going right into it. So we not, because I told them, as soon as you guys finish the Moab, as soon as it's done, these emails going to go out. We're going right into it. I'm not going to sit there and say, okay, we're going to do it on this such and such day, because we should have started it, but we just didn't know we were going to be bombarded. But once it's finished, we're going directly into it. So get your emails out, and if you're joining up, please do. We'll welcome you. And again, I'm not going to put my email up, but I will tell it to you. And it's elder.mjohnson@kjbu.org. Elder, ELDER .mjohnson, JOHNSON @kjbu.org. So with that, I wish you guys have a great, wonderful Sabbath. And with that, I say shalom.